I don't want to have to trick people into spending more time on my content. I don't want to have to be producing content. I want to be my silly little self and have the people who like me follow me and engage with me and say like, hey, Caitlin, what are you up to? And then I get to share that. Hello, sunshine. Today we're talking about social media and the fact that it kind of sucks. Meta owns a lot of things. Meta owns Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. Elon Musk owns X, formerly known as Twitter, currently still known as Twitter because X is a ridiculous thing to call a social media platform. TikTok was recently sued into having to sell the company to something based in the US. And that's pretty much the basics. So we're going to talk about my personal unhappinesses with social media because I was here when this was all farmland. I was here when you needed a college email address to sign up for Facebook. That is how I signed up for Facebook. I also had to be invited to Gmail. So elder millennial here. Okay, so I signed up for Facebook in 2006. That's when I started college. And there were no ads. There were no hashtags. You just got on and you posted a status and you could poke your friends and you could there were little games. There were little farms, or Pieces of Flair was one that I really liked, where you had this sort of virtual bulletin board on your profile page and you could just put little pins on it. And, you could say LGBTQ pride or whatever. At the time, I thought I was straight. Hilarious. We'll talk about that sometime. It's a great story of how I was, quote, the gayest straight person I know. And I was straight but not narrow. And I was on the GSA board. And I didn't know I was queer. Hilarious. But social media, right? Started, no ads. It started as let's see what this can do. Let's see what social media even is. And so Facebook was my first foray into social media. Oh, there's also Reddit. I personally don't think of Reddit as social media, but I probably should because it's just more forum based. But it's kind of a social media. A lot of people, their whole social media presence is on Reddit, and they're in the forums that relate to them. Or I guess they're not called forums, it's a subreddit. But you can just go join a subreddit that is aligned with your interests and then talk about that subreddit. People ask questions. There's a Bluey subreddit. There's a Jurassic Park subreddit. There's a subreddit for everything. And then unfortunately, there's also red pill subreddits and trad wife subreddits and stuff where people talk about how they want traditional gender roles without the critical thinking that comes with the fact that traditional gender roles enforce misogyny. But that's not what we're talking about today. What we're talking about today is that being on social media in 2024 kind of sucks. It is hard to keep up with your friends. It feels like every third post is an advertisement. Your account can get shadow banned because you spoke up about being queer or being trans or the Black Lives Matter movement or sex work or a lot of things that theoretically are allowed. They don't violate the terms of service, but you get suppressed. They get tracked by the algorithm as non-recommendable content, which means that unless people follow you and actively go seek out your profile, they're not going to organically see your content in their feed. The timeliest example I can give of this is posting about Palestine. If you post in support of Palestine, you will likely get shadow banned. Even on posts about things that are not related to Palestine, you will be penalized by the algorithm for participating in content that is pro-Palestine. I find this not delicious. I'm not into it. And there's also this sense of well, what are you going to do? All my friends are here. This is where I get my socialization. A lot of my friends online are long distance. They don't live near me, so we can't hang out. And also, you can probably tell I've been sick. I finally got COVID. It's been 4.5 years. And this most recent strain fucking nailed me. I'm not pleased about it. I'm kind of proud that I got 4.5 years. We mask when we go outside, but we have gotten a little more lax with that because we've gotten, the vaccines and the boosters and things like that. But it wasn't even like going out anywhere that did anything. It was a coworker of my housemate, and then the housemate got it, and then we got it in the house. So I'm like, well, this sucks. But like, even if you post about COVID, sometimes you can get shadow banned and suppressed, especially in like early 2020 when the COVID like lockdowns were first happening, and there was a lot of misinformation going around. And then there was this whole like vaccine denial thing. And so it was very easy to get your account shadow banned when talking about COVID. So this is what being on social media is like. It's like 50%, this is how I talk to my friends, and 50%, this is absolutely awful. And it's like being in a mall that won't stop screaming. And then also there's like Republicans that'll come in and tell you that you shouldn't have any rights. It's a wild ride. So not my favorite. Also, it's like scammy, and there's generative AI stuff being shared. And so people will share like, oh, look at this beautiful flower. And it's like clearly fake. Like it's clearly a generated image. But then if you say that and you're like, that's clearly AI, then people want to start a fight with you in the comments. It's nuts. You have to carve out little places where it is safe to be yourself online. And being yourself is part of like the whole purpose of marketing via social media. Social media marketing began as a way for brands, businesses, authors, artists, whomever, to like share like the more personal side of their work. Like Stephen King on Twitter, he'll just post some random stuff about his day. And it's cool to like see into the lives of your favorite people, like your favorite authors, your favorite artists. Except that then on the other end of that, we have become so like entitled to people's private lives that you have like Chappell Roan having to post on TikTok, like, you're not entitled to me. I don't have to stop and take a photo with you. Like, I don't owe you that. And then people get upset because like, well, then why are you even on here, right? There's this very transactional and like, well, if I follow you, then you owe me sense of being online. And it's hard to market. It's hard to market as a marginalized person, additionally, because, who takes up the most space online? Cisgender, heterosexual, white, Christian, thin to average sized men who have jobs or who have very profitable businesses. And then the further you are away from that, if you're pagan, if you are fat, if you are trans, if you are gay, the further you get from that ideal person that society and thus the algorithm likes to uphold, the harder it is to market yourself on social media, especially neurodivergent people, because we are trying to operate within like these parameters, but the rules keep changing. So like if you're on Instagram, it used to be just photos, and then it was photos and carousels, and now you can put photos in a different format. You can make them longer instead of just square. And the advice is you should post the longer ones because they take up more of the feed while people are scrolling. Thus, their eyes are on your content for half a second longer. And like, that's so boring to me. I don't want to have to trick people into spending more time on my content. I don't want to have to be producing content. I want to be my silly little self and have the people who like me follow me and engage with me and say like, hey, Caitlin, what are you up to? And then I get to share that. That is not the way of social media right now. You have to like cast a wide net, and you're supposed to be following trends, and you're supposed to keep your captions short or long or this or that. And it changes all the time. Like what the Instagram algorithm likes and will promote changes. So like if you post a YouTube link to your Facebook, that's not going to get shared as much as if you uploaded a video to Facebook and then it's a Facebook video. So all of these platforms are going to share their own native uploads first. Just like if you make a TikTok and then you download that TikTok and it still has the little TikTok watermark on it, like the little logo, Instagram will suppress that more so than if you just kind of re-recorded it or used a watermark remover and then uploaded it as a reel. They want you to use the native tools. But then there's also this pressure that you have to be everywhere. You should be on Twitter. You should be on Facebook. You should be on LinkedIn. You should be on Instagram. You should be everywhere. I ain't got time for that. I don't have the energy for that. I've barely used Facebook in like the past 3 weeks, and it's been so nice. And that feels like I kind of miss my Facebook friends, but I like Threads. I've been really vibing over on Threads, and something has happened where I'm not putting the pressure on myself of performing and making content for people to consume. I am just sharing my thoughts. I am sharing myself on Threads. And that is how it is supposed to work. Like that's the ideal. But then I learned something because I went accidentally a little viral on Threads because I said that the movie The Breakfast Club sucks. People did not like that. People were very upset with me. And so I had a lot of comments that were like rude, like straight up rude. They'll be like, well, you suck. You have no taste. You're dumb Gen Z. You're too young to get it. You're stupid. And I'm like, this is fascinating. It became kind of a social experiment that I did not intend because the point of the Breakfast Club is that like you can't judge people based on your experience of them on the surface. Like once you get to know someone a little bit better, you'll probably empathize with them more. That is the overall message of the Breakfast Club, a message that I support. What I hate about the Breakfast Club is that 4 of them coupled up at the end and left Brian like fifth wheeling, and that he had to like write the essay for all of them. They were all like, oh, Brian, you're so good at writing the essay. Why don't you write the essay? And so like everybody else goes and like makes out while Brian has to write the essay. And I'm like, that sucks. The ending of Breakfast Club sucks. But I didn't say that. I said Breakfast Club sucks. And so Gen X and their moms came out of the woodwork to like rip me to shreds. And it was mostly funny, but it was also a little dehumanizing. Like some people really were not interested in why I felt that way. They made assumptions of why I must feel that way, that I'm too young or I don't get it, or I'm a coddled, entitled little baby snowflake. And I'm like, wow, I think you guys also missed the point of the Breakfast Club. Just saying. So that was my fun little experience on Threads. But 2 people commented and they said, I hate when I just see like rage bait like this. This is just comment bait. You are just fishing for comments. And I was like, is that what people do? Is that how people grow their accounts and grow their engagement? They post things on purpose to upset other people? Because let me tell you, that had never occurred to me. And I find it really like disingenuous and kind of gross that is a method. So social media is weird. And it's extra weird if you're neurodivergent, because even I, a 36-year-old millennial with a background in content marketing, did not understand that like some people will just go on social media and lie and say stuff that they might not even believe because it's going to get people worked up and talking about things. And I was like, that sucks. That totally sucks. And I hate it. So let's not. Can we like opt out of this? I would love to give you some tips for de-sucking your social media because it sucks. And a lot of us, even if you don't have a business, if you're an artist, you're a writer, you're a poet, like if you make anything, a musician, Chapel Roan became famous. She started on TikTok. She just wrote songs and posted on TikTok. And now she's like selling out concert halls. And I personally love her, but I will never stop her and ask her for a photo because she said no. And I'm going to respect that. So yeah, social media. It's weird, but the compulsion to be there and to be marketing and to be growing an engaged fan base so that you can potentially make an income from your art, whatever that art is. I have this poster behind me, wrong side, that says art is work. And it is. Art is work, and you deserve to be paid for your art if that's what you want. So you don't have to have like a quote unquote business or a quote unquote brand, but like you do have a brand if you are sharing on social media in a way that you would like to lead to clients and income and subscribers, you know? So whether that's like Twitch or YouTube, or please subscribe to me on YouTube, by the way. Love you. Like your podcast, your video game streams, your music, anything. These are important things to keep in mind, especially if you're neurodivergent. So tip number 1 is to ruthlessly use the block button. I used to hate the block button. I was like, no, that is too far. That is mean. It is mean of me to block people. Whew, not anymore. Now, if like, I don't even have to personally engage with a person. If I just see somebody acting like an asshole, I will block them. Somebody's in somebody else's thread, just being rude on purpose or deliberately misunderstanding the point or bringing in like, this is invalid because you have they, them pronouns. Something someone said to me about my opinion on The Breakfast Club. Fun fact, like people got really weird about the fact that I have they, them pronouns in my profile. I really enjoyed not being on that side of the internet. And now that side has found me because I insulted a beloved film and it's not even a very good film. Whatever. My opinion on The Breakfast Club is not what this episode's about. I will do one if you want my opinion on The Breakfast Club. Put it in the comments. Tell me that you want me to info dump about why I do not like The Breakfast Club. But I will save you from that for now because we're talking about social media, something that they didn't have in 1985. So what else were they going to do in that library? Okay, for real now. I'm back. So block people. At the first sign, have I talked about the 3 yikes rule on the podcast? The 3 yikes rule is something that I developed when I was dating after my divorce. And that was if someone made me uncomfortable, even just like a little bit, if they made me go like, oh, yikes, I didn't really care for that. They can have a maximum of 3 yikes before I'm like, I can't see you anymore. I gotta go. Because something about you is uncomfortable and I don't owe you the time it will take me to figure it out. Like I don't owe you 2 years and you abusing me for most of it. Like there's enough of a tell here that I'm like, I'm uncomfortable. You get 1 yikes on social media when you're a fucking stranger. I'm sorry. I don't owe you anything. You're a stranger on the internet. And also like they don't owe me anything, but I do think that humans owe each other basic decency. And so if somebody comes at me without basic human decency, they're blocked. It's very lovely. It's quieter. It's nicer. Try it. Tip number 2 is anything that makes you like compare yourself or feel like you are not good enough or makes you like want to post like that person, you should unfollow them. You don't have to block them all the way. Like I have several close friends, like people who I love very much. They will occasionally go on a weight loss journey, right? And that's not for me. I'm in eating disorder recovery and I don't want to hear about your diet. So I will snooze them. That's a great feature that Facebook has. You can snooze somebody for 30 days, which is usually how long it takes them to stop their diet. And then they're back in my feed and I'm like, oh, hey, welcome back. I love this now. And if they're still doing it, I just hit snooze again. This is great for like business owners. And again, if you're like me, it's going to feel mean. It's going to feel like they're going to think I don't like them if I don't follow them on Instagram. Like, no, I am a coach. I am a creative coach. I am a writing coach. And I don't need other writing coaches in my head. It does not benefit me or my clients to see 5 other writing coaches doing something because that's going to make me think, oh shit, like, am I doing my business wrong? Should I be doing that? Is that what a writing coach does? So I don't tend to follow a lot of writing coaches. I also have because over the past 4 years, like I've made a lot of friends and gone to a lot of networking events and been in different challenges around business coaching, like life coaching in general. And it's every once in a while, every like 6 months to a year, I have to like go through and I'm like, if I don't actually know this person, like if I don't know anything about their real life and we're not actually like cultivating a friendship, then I unfriend them. And it feels mean, but it's very important because I don't need the way they run their business making me question the way I run my business, especially because, this is hard, you guys. I just started a Patreon, and that has always been something that I thought in my mind. I was like, well, that's not for me because like I have a business. I'm not an artist first and foremost. I'm not a writer first and foremost. I don't need people to just generally support my work. But like, yes, I do. And allowing myself to have a business and a Patreon where people can just like support my art, support this podcast, support my writing was a big step for me. So we're going to put that in the show notes, and there's merch. So if you sign up as a patron at the $25 a month level, every 3 months you will get themed merch. It is exclusive to the Patreon for now. I might make some elsewhere later, but merch. I made just stickers and stuff. Okay, so tip number 1 was block people. They get one yikes. If you wouldn't want them in your house, like if they knocked on your door and you would hide, you can block that person. You just can. And tip number 2 is anything that makes you compare yourself or second guess the way that you post and you run your experience on social media, because your social media experience is yours. It is yours. And some people might block or unfollow or unfriend you if they're following this advice. And that doesn't mean anything about you. That means that they are curating their own social media experience. And right now you don't fit in. And that's okay. It doesn't have to be personal. Tip number 3 is to figure out if you even like the platforms that you are on. So I hate that when you open TikTok, a video immediately starts to play. I don't like that. That's too noisy for me. I like to be on a nice quiet app and then click into the videos if I wish to watch videos. I can't do TikTok, so I deleted the app off my phone, and that's fine. Nobody has died. It's been gone for like a year. Nothing bad has happened to me, which, the concern is there. So ask yourself, like, do I feel obligated to check this app so that other people have access to me? If you're not on an app or on a social media platform because you enjoy the experience of being there, ditch it, delete it. You don't have to be there just because other people want you to be there. You don't have to be on multiple platforms at all. You can just be on Instagram. You can just be on Threads. Well, that's a lie. You have to have an Instagram account to have a Threads account. They're connected. But you don't have to post on your Instagram. You can just post on Threads. So technically, I lied to you right there. Do I like this app? Do I have fun on this app for me? Great question. Similar to the other one, but like you can check something because that's where people keep in touch with you and also like it, or maybe you don't like it, in which case you need to evaluate, like, what's the best way to keep in touch with me? Maybe you want to give people your phone number, like your personal friends. I have several people on Facebook where like I would not mind if they texted me. That's an option. You can do that. You don't have to operate on social media if you don't want to. Also think about like, do you like videos, images, or text the best? Like sometimes Instagram's overwhelming. That's why I really like Threads. And Facebook used to be more text-based and now has become like the everything place. It's very meta. LOL, if you'll allow me the joke. But like what feels easiest for you to consume and also to create, because you can be on Instagram just because you like to see other people's pictures. That doesn't mean that you have to be prolifically creative on Instagram. You can be prolific on Threads. You can be prolific on LinkedIn or TikTok. You can pick where you want to consume and where you want to create and set boundaries there. And then the last question that I would ask is, when I get a notification on this app, how do I feel? Am I like, I don't want to open that? Or am I like, ooh, what did somebody say? Your mood when those notifications come in are a huge clue on whether or not you actually like that app. And then finally, tip number 4 is notice if you are masking on social media. So this is similar to advice that I give my writing clients. If you are writing with the reader in mind, then you are not actually like authentically writing from your own heart. And social media like does not really matter. It's not going to be there forever. Yes, somebody can screenshot it and be like, Caitlin Fisher said this on August 17th, 2024, and I think they're a giant asshole. And I'm like, okay, that could happen. But more realistically is that Caitlin Fisher will post The Breakfast Club sucks. It explodes on Threads for a couple days and then it disappears. Like, I'm not going to be remembered as that bitch who hates The Breakfast Club. But if I am, that'd be funny. That also helps. Like, the mindset of being like, if other people choose to like hate me over a non-issue opinion that I have, like, sure, if I come on and I'm like, political candidate is the best and that political candidate does bad things, I'm not saying anybody's names about anything because I don't want to get my algorithm suppressed. But like, if I have a truly bad take, I kind of expect to be pressed on that. I expect people to be like, so what about like this part? Like NaNoWriMo, they're currently going a little viral because they are pro AI. And they said that, what is it? Like criticizing the use of AI has classist and ableist undertones. And so people are super pissed at NaNoWriMo for this because that's not true. But then people are like, why is everybody mad about this AI thing when last year, like, there was grooming in like the youth author group and the official NaNoWriMo moderators, some of them were found to be like in the DMs of children grooming them. And I had no freaking idea. So when I see a post like that, that's like, oh, you're so mad about AI, but where were you last year? I don't know, man, but now I'm mad about both things. Thanks for telling me. Like, there's a give and take on social media, and it's just so low stakes. Like, if you say something and then it's bad, like it was a bad take, or you learned something else, you can delete that post, or you can post again and say, I got new context. Here's this. It's so low stakes, but it feels so high stakes because people can be such jerks about it. People will just start little comment fights with you. And that feels really high stakes, especially when you have rejection sensitivity, especially when you are neurodivergent. And this feels like when you were a kid and you thought you were like following the rules of social engagement. And then somebody's like, that's weird. Why are you being weird? That sucks. We don't like it. And so we tend to mask on social media. We tend to like run it through a filter and show it to 4 friends and be like, is this okay to post? Or is there anything in here where like people can misinterpret me? We are so used to over-explaining ourselves and watering down our opinions and the quirky fun stuff that makes us like who we are and that our real friends love about us. We're so used to diluting that down for a wider audience that it can make social media marketing really sucky because you're not actually saying anything. You'll say something that's like super bland, super safe, super airtight, but that is not where you find your fellow weirdos. So those are 4 tips to help you engage more genuinely, like with your own self in your experience of social media. And also I have a free workshop coming up on September 12th. It is called Copy Improv. And it is my autistic ADHD copywriting technique where we learn to write fast and embrace chaos and just get the post out there rather than doing all of that second guessing and hemming and hawing and reviewing until it's just masked nonsense. So you're going to learn how to unmask in your social media marketing, copywriting. I don't want to say that it's just for people who are marketing because a lot of people who are marketing don't know that what they're doing is marketing. So if you operate on social media to grow an audience and potentially grow an income, and you have trouble with masking and rejection sensitivity on social media, this workshop is for you. So come aboard. I'm doing a webinar style workshop. Like, you'll come and learn and I'll teach you the things, and there will be time for Q&A on September 12th at 6 p.m. Eastern time. I'm in the US on the East Coast. And when you register, you get 12 prompts right away so that you can go ahead and start practicing this copy improv technique. And you don't have to wait for me to teach it to you. You'll start learning it right away. So that is what I have for you. I hope that you sign up. My goal, it's a little baby goal. I want 25 people to come there. So that's pretty easy. I have 211 subscribers. That's so cute. I love it. Okay. So if like 12% of my YouTube subscribers go register for this thing, then hooray, I've met my goal of only 25 people. So that's going to be in the show notes for you. Please sign up for the Copy Improv Workshop to get my ADHD copywriting tips to help you actually connect with the people that you want to connect with and stop caring about what the other people think, because their opinions don't matter. Your weirdos, they matter. People who are not your weirdos, irrelevant. Okay, I love you. I'll see you soon. Bye.